You guys are sitting here, 4 people who were all canceled during COVID.
Yeah, right.
Maha Civil War. In a way, I'm uniquely, or if not uniquely, rarely qualified to talk about this because I know a lot of people involved in this little civil war. Bobby Kennedy, Dr. Oz, Nicole Shanahan, and Laura Loomer's claim that Casey Means is not legit. Check out this then. This is Laura Loomer. She's talking about Casey Means, who's been on our show before, and Callie Means is my friend. I love Callie Means. Casey Means, the new Trump nominee for US Surgeon General, doesn't even have an active medical license in Oregon, where she established her medical practice. How is the top doctor in the US supposed to give medical guidance and advice to the nation when she doesn't even have an active medical license in the state where she allegedly practiced medicine? Does Casey Means even have an active medical license in any state? This is so embarrassing for the Trump administration. They chose a social media influencer who sells supplements, who didn't even support Trump, to be US Surgeon General. Who is doing the vetting? Let me know how you feel about that in the comments and chat. I know there are procedural requirements for positions of high office, but my somewhat superficial understanding of Casey and Callie Means is that they are very committed to health, to spiritual principles, are fundamentally anti-corporate, and are interested in a type of wellness that up until 10 years ago was kind of peripheral and belonged to the denizens of California and LA. Let's get into this a little deeper. Callie Means has responded, just received information that Laura Loomer is taking money from industry to scuttle President Trump's agenda. If that's incorrect, sue me and let's do discovery. Do you know what I find generally disheartening is the sense of deterioration in these independent media spaces and emergent political spaces. Like Maha, what I like about Maha, firstly, is it's a funny thing to say, but secondly, what it was about was wellness and spirituality and trying to address why America is so unwell. And the conclusion of that inquiry is usually that American government is so controlled by commercial and corporate interests that it puts that ahead of the wellness of the people of America. We saw that in the pandemic writ large. We couldn't even take vitamin D or get out and enjoy a bit of sunshine, let alone take some ivermectin in order to fight off this lab-induced and lab-made virus. Now, in a way, the pandemic merely highlighted something that had been happening for a long time before it. Various big food, big agriculture, and big pharma interests were manipulating and managing media space and food spaces so that all of us were eating packaged and processed and disgusting food that was making us ill and weren't granted access to real important and bleeding obvious information like eat organic food where possible, whether it's organically reared meat or organically grown vegetable products. Now, this kind of world is sort of collapsing. I think this is pretty common, isn't it, when people come into power, that there's sort of more contradiction and more conflict as people vie for kind of new spots in the hierarchy. Let me know what you think about this in the comments and chat, because Nicole Shanahan, who's also been a guest on the show, seems to be suggesting that Bobby Kennedy is controlled. Now, I've heard a lot of you, or read a lot of you say that. I know Bobby Kennedy. Here's my appraisal of Bobby Kennedy. Seems like someone from another time and another world, a outdoorsman, a romantic figure that belongs somehow in part in great American novels, a member of this aristocratic family, and yet kind of tragic. And I connect him on the level of addiction. I know that saying the Kennedy family are anointed and yet tragic is hardly novel analysis with the murders and deaths that family has encountered. But with Bobby, I sort of feel that he has this ruggedness and love of the outdoors and the brokenness that any addict will recognize, as well as this sort of phenomenal mind and this ability to interpret scripture and legislation and to put together arguments. So I'd like to hear Bobby Kennedy called out and attacked. And it's not like I take it personal, but he is my friend and he's a person I'd go to the mat for, Bobby Kennedy. You know, I'd go to the mat for Bobby Kennedy if people say, oh, he's owned by Israel. I'd go, maybe like he's just got a different perspective on Israel than you. That's what I'd say. So Nicole Shanahan, she came on our show. She's obviously previously married to Sergey Brin, isn't it, out of Google. And like I feel she's encountered a lot of raw and real power. And I'm just interested to see what it is what do people want here? What's going on? You know, what do people want? Because I feel like Bobby Kennedy, I'd vouch for him. Dr. Oz, totally vouch for him. Marty Makari, Jay Bhattacharya, cool people. Yes, it's very strange. Doesn't make any sense. I was promised that if I supported RFK Jr. in his Senate confirmation, that neither of these siblings would be working under HHS or in an appointment, and that people much more qualified would be. I don't know if RFK very clearly lied to me or what is going on. It's been clear in recent conversations that he's reporting to someone regularly who is controlling his decisions, and it isn't President Trump. With regards to the siblings, there is something very artificial and aggressive about them, almost like they were bred and raised Mancunian assets, i.e. sort of MK Ultra style folk. Well, I like Callie Means a lot. He's lovely. He's really brilliant and really smart and really reliable. I like Callie Means. Casey Means I don't know so well, but I know he loves her and adores her. And I feel like Casey Means is the type of appointment that will move America forward, that the HHS will increasingly become about addressing the health of Americans, what you eat, how you exercise, and why diet, nutrition and medicine has been so corrupt in the past. In addition to the potential appointment, as Casey Means, as a Surgeon General, President Trump has done something that Biden claimed he would do but never did, controlled the prices of American farmer. Let's get into that as well. Let me know what you think in the comments and chat about this Maha civil war. Here's RFK Jr. responding. Let's check it.
Casey Means, we felt, was the best person to really bring the vision of Maha to the American public. She has this unique capacity to articulate it. She's written a book that really mobilized, galvanized the movement. She is an extraordinary, she is excellence in everything that she's ever endeavored.
Obviously, she's come under her own criticism about some of the things she's advocated for. She never finished her residency, and she doesn't currently have an active medical license, but that's not...
She was the very top of her medical class at Stanford. She's during her residency, she won every award that she could win. She walked away from traditional medicine because she was not curing patients. She couldn't get anybody within her profession to look at the nutrition contributions to illness. And she said, if we're really going to heal people, if we're healers, we can't just be making our life about billing new procedures. We actually have to figure out new approaches to medicine. And that's the kind of leadership that she's going to bring to our country.
And last thing on this, your former running mate weighed in today saying that she wasn't happy about this and said that you're somehow being controlled. Your decisions are being controlled. That's what she posted.
Listen, you guys sitting here, 4 people who were all canceled during COVID.
Yeah, that's right.
These people are, you've got the entire leadership of this agency is renegades who are juggernauts against convention and who are trying to look for truth no matter what the cost.
So nobody's controlling your
Casey
decision.
is among those.
It'll become infinite regress in the end. Say if you're Catholic and you're like, this Pope ain't Catholic enough. I'm not doing these rosaries. I'm not doing the luminous rosary on Thursday. There can be a point, in the end, there will be no one left but yourself. Skepticism's fine. Cynicism's understandable. But if you would consider those 4 men kind of puppets and stuff, I feel like, oh man, there's no chance. There's no chance because I think I'd just be exhausted. I don't think I've got it in me to start going, Bobby Kennedy is an Israeli asset and Callie and Casey Means are controlled in this way. Because in a way, I think it comes down to the problem of living in civilizations at scale. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've actually met these people and spent time with them, and they're really decent, lovely, brilliant people that have integrity and are open. In a way, like with the culture war, I've been saying this for a long, long time, at the height of the pandemic. Say if you don't want to be bogged down in social justice issues, for example, or trans issues, I feel like, well, the world's big enough to have people that want to live in a whole variety of ways. Let's move to a position of non-judgment. Let's take the show business and razzmatazz right out of politics and have minimal intervention of government and maximum community empowerment of the individual, maximum empowerment of the community. So in a sense, increased confederacy. Like the state has as much power as possible, town, individual, community, street, as much democracy as possible. Man, it will take so long. Have you ever been involved in an anarchist organization where you have to vote on every single decision? It's so bloody boring, you cry out for a dictator by the end of it. So just get Stalin or Hitler in here. Yay, do them a new anthem, because it takes so long. It's totally tedious. 1775, baby. How do you stay alive? You've used 1775. A dark roast so bold, it could bench press James Madison. A medium roast smoother than Julian Assange escaping on a skateboard. An anti-aging blend loaded with CA-AKG, a compound scientifically shown to reduce your biological age. And of course, you get some exclusive merch. Look at this matte black tumbler stamped with unapologetic freedom quotes. A gold spoon clip. Oh yeah, Macron and Keir Starmer. We're on the Coke train again, baby. Look at this spoon clip. It keeps your beans sealed tighter than Epstein's list or Zelensky's a-hole when Putin's on a Coke binge. This is not corporate coffee. This is single origin, small batch, mold-free, toxin-free, roasted fresh, not by robots in a diversity-funded focus group, but by people who own cast iron and opinions. Every batch scores 85 plus on the cupping scale. That means it's good, real good. Not roasted over the dying hum of a Cybertruck that ran out of battery halfway through a freedom ride. Go to 7075coffee.com/brand and get yourself a starter kit before the Ministry of Caffeine Regulation finds out. Bad Andy won in the Rumble chats talking about Nicole Shanahan's appearance, I think, on Glenn Beck. Let's have a look.
I want to ask you, the Surgeon General thing, are you for Casey Means or not for Casey Means?
Well, I'll tell you who I am for, Glenn.
Okay.
I'm for all of those Americans, the hundreds of thousands of doctors.
Glenn Beck show looks good, isn't it? He's like on a horse and everything. That's his backdrop. Well, why don't we have me on a horse? Because I've not got any connection to horses. There's no reason for it. Let's get that Cybertruck back. Let's have an image of me in a Cybertruck.
Seeking truth, honesty, and dignity in our medical system once again. That is what I'm for. That is what propelled MAHA into existence. That is what propelled Bobby Kennedy into the position of running for president of the United States. That's why I joined the campaign. It really is about listening to this group of doctors that did the right thing during the COVID pandemic, that spoke up when it was dangerous to speak up, that lost their licenses. And so when I hear from that base concern or research about individuals in and around MAHA, I have to listen to them. And I do listen to them because oftentimes they are right. They're brave and they're principled. So the concern I've been hearing from that group of people is that MAHA has, any movement, MAGA had this issue too, of infiltration by different groups that are more self-serving than they are for the movement itself. And so just one example, Casey Means is a founder of a company that does biometric harvesting. She's very close with many of the big data biometric harvesting companies in Silicon Valley. And this, I know several of these people. You do not want them running in a government position that is responsible for everybody equally, right?
Okay, so wait. What is bio? What is that? They're harvesting what?
Well, so biometric data is anything between heart rate data to all of the data that is collected from your Fitbit or high glucose monitor. Okay. It could be labs.
Okay.
It could be and then there's all the DNA harvesting and big data that's being done. So, I think that the base, MAHA really came from medical freedom and medical sovereignty and the idea that we have to keep conflicts of interest out of the government. And so when I, see some stuff going on that we could be doing better, right?
Right. Seems like pretty good analysis from Nicole Shanahan. I wonder if that's true. Let's find out about it. Let's find out about that biometric data. But as I say, for me, You know, is there only so much you can take on, isn't there? For God's sake, what are we supposed to do? We can't just endlessly pull apart the molecules of reality until we're in an empty morass of meaninglessness. I feel like I'm happy with Bobby Kennedy, Dr. Oz, and hey, that's just what I think though, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments and the chat. Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to see more uncensored content where free speech can flourish, join our live stream. Click the link right here to watch the next video if you want to, or become a member of a growing movement. Download the Rumble app and you'll be informed every time we make a new piece of content. Stay free.